Yo, yo. The human element. This one is to add on to the last one. Do you believe that there is one size that fits all? Do you have beliefs that fall in line with one size fits all? Because if you do, then what are you susceptible to? Well, you're susceptible to missing lessons on what actually works. If you believe one size fits all, you're susceptible to denying information, even though it's been proven by other people and your own estimations to be valuable. You're susceptible to declining the integration of that information. And that's not a good thing to be susceptible to. At the same time, it's not a bad thing. If you believe in anything, you're susceptible to something. You're susceptible to certain actions and certain responses from certain happenings. If you're an adult and you genuinely believe that at a certain point, everyone will come to, I guess, some form of pessimism, and you label that pessimism as a natural, inevitable part of becoming an adult, if that's what you believe, then you're susceptible to, whenever you're in the presence of a child, you're susceptible to pretty much destroying growth. Specific kinds of growth. I would say the best kinds of growth, because what you'd be susceptible to is killing people's dreams. If you believe that you're an adult and that at some point all adults come to some form of pessimism or cynicism, and that is a marker of maturity, then you're susceptible to killing dreams of the youth. So, operating with awareness, if I'm having a conversation with you and I find out through your speech patterns that you're cynical, which isn't a bad thing, but your cynicism is integrated with your belief system in such a way to where your cynicism is a mark of maturity, and people who do not have that edge simply need to learn something. So, susceptible to killing the dreams of the youth, susceptible to indoctrination of the youth, right? Because whenever you're in the presence of the youth and maybe you want to teach a lesson, your lesson is going to be more damaging than uplifting. It's going to constrict it's going to constrict the mind and the heart of the youth. Do you believe that people can't change? I believe that people can. Whether you believe that people can't change or people can, you're still going to be susceptible to certain things, right? If you are, okay, let's say I'm the type of person, I believe in change. So I am a walking representative of a lifestyle oriented around constant growth at a rate that I control. And if I don't control that rate with a certain degree of autonomy, then there is no life. That's a whole philosophy. What I'm susceptible to is empowering others, giving insight that is rare, holding ground for things that need to be defended. Or maybe that third one doesn't fit. But I'm susceptible to a set of things that I wouldn't be susceptible to if I didn't believe in change. Because I genuinely have change for myself and others wired into my philosophy, I am susceptible to certain things. I am susceptible to certain triggers. Certain things will trigger me if I believe in change. And the things that will trigger me in the realm that I'm speaking about would pretty much be anything that constricts the freedom that I know is possible through believing in change or philosophies revolving around change. I would be susceptible to becoming triggered by restrictive philosophies, rigid philosophies. If you are someone who does not believe in change, you would be susceptible to emotional outbursts, doubling down in things that are wrong so that the waters don't get shifted. You're susceptible to having strongholds or spaces that become stale over time energetically. And I pretty much said a whole bunch of negative things. But I wanted positive things about people who don't believe in change is that they can hold their ground. I mean, because of the philosophy, holding your ground comes with that. You don't like change. And so what you really become good at is defending. You become good at anchoring, or with relative to the domain of not believing in change, something that fits in the domain of not believing in change is something like defense and holding down the fort, securing the ways of what has been. And all these things are neutral, nuance, context, circumstance. I'm not adding any of that right now. What I'm trying to highlight is your beliefs make you susceptible to a set of pros and a set of cons. And if you navigate that with awareness, you can make changes based on not only the pros that you want to have, but the cons that will definitely come with the pros because they come part and parcel. They're a joint package, the pro and the con. If you have a philosophy to where you only want the pro and you don't want the con, then that also kind of falls in line with something like a rigidness, right? Because a pro and a con are two aspects of the same coin, and you don't like the other side of the coin, so you want to keep that face on the side of the coin that you want to keep it. And given the context, nuance and circumstance, whether that is a good thing or a bad thing it's malleable. It's not a static thing. Okay, so what do you believe in? Furthermore, do you like the set of pros and cons that come with your belief? Do you feel that the set of pros and cons that come with your belief truly represent you as an individual? And this is where vetting comes in, walking with a practice, working in a practice. Because then you get to, through working with that practice and walking with that mindset, you get to see what it fails against, and you get to see what it triumphs over. So through walking with a belief, you can decide, okay, I like this belief because it allows me to triumph over X. And I also like this belief because there are times where this belief is weak against Y, but that weakness against Y is something that I'm willing to deal with for the sake of the fact that I understand that there are pros and cons. And that's a lot of words for basically saying pick your poison, right? Pick your poison, because if you're gonna have a dream, there's gonna be a poison that comes with it. Everyone has a con. Everyone has a struggle, internal, external. Everyone has one. Do you believe in luck? Okay, if you believe in luck, that is in alignment with something that's more rigid, actually, because luck in itself as the concept is it could be said to be changing. It could be said to be not fixed, random, right? More feminine in its standing. But that's for the concept itself. The way that you would engage with luck as a concept actually highlights rigidity, because you're fixed in a mindset where possibilities are just left up to the air. And your rigidity comes up in that you are powerless. So one of the cons with believing in luck is feelings of powerlessness, because there's nowhere for you to insert you in your fullest capacity if everything is random and nothing matters. If there is no order, there is no hierarchy, there is no one thing that triumphs over the other, there is no rock, paper, scissors dynamic, and there's just luck, meaning that you don't believe things have attributes and those attributes can come into complement or antagonize with another substance, which to me sounds insane. But if you believe in luck, that's not a good or a bad thing. I hope I've said this before, but we're all delusional because we all have to pick up a set of ideas and run with them to see what it fails against. And if we don't die, then that kind of validates the process that we're heavily dependent on, which is experimentation. So we're dependent on experimentation, but the building grounds of experimentation and creativity is paradox. The fact that we've become so good at creating a system that tells people how to act and when to do what to do creates the effect that dampens creativity and lessens experimentation, which is the very thing that breeds systems for our times. Tricky stuff. But what do you do? What do you believe? I believe that right now I'm not like I'm not too worried about things. I believe we're in a good place. There's a lot of things going on in the world right now that would have people believe that they're not in a good place. I see other things though. I see bad things happening that bring awareness to bad things that's always been happening. And that is a good thing. And that's what I believe. Because awareness to bad things is how problems get solved. And right now, it just so happens in the age of information, there's a lot of problems surfacing, which would create an air of things going worse, which I don't believe is the case. And if you believe something else, you are susceptible to certain things that could work for you. For you, my orientation, the things that I can handle, the things that sustain me, the things that drain me, I am an individual. We are all individuals. We have forgotten how to navigate or walk through this world with the balance of the autonomy of the individual, the uniqueness of the individual, and the fact that when people come together, great things could happen that could not happen separately. For whatever aim, we are stronger together. And in between that, there's just been a loss of synergy. I'm so happy right now because I started this believing certain things about people and their capacity, and I'm seeing that belief pay off in my world. So that makes me very happy. It makes me feel fulfilled. It makes me feel invigorated and emboldened to keep doing what I'm doing in the manner that I've been doing it. We're just gonna keep getting better. And guess what? This one is definitely less than 30 minutes. Because I really just wanted to bring attention to belief. I already said the bulk of what I needed to say. What do you believe in? Do you like what it's made you? Do you like what it's made you susceptible to? Some people have a set of beliefs that make them susceptible to being surrounded by people who are very callous, dangerous, reckless. Some people have beliefs that make them susceptible to being around people who care for them, who check in on them. And all of that could be navigated from the individual by shifting their belief. And so there's a real correlation from belief and the will and the ability to give the individual the capacity to make intentional change. Like, I had a set of beliefs when I started this particular YouTube series, I guess I'll call it now at this point. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure what the name is. But I believed that there was something that I was missing that I could be contributing towards. I believed that there was a space that I wasn't operating in, that if I operated in, I would see better. And I believed that although I was surrounded by people who my words fell on deaf ears with, I believed, even though the bulk of my experience is that my words fall on deaf ears, I believed still that starting this would be a good idea. And every time I think about it, I'm like, damn, I'm so smart. But not the traditional logic smart. It's the emotional smart. It's the thing that a lot of men are missing, and that it was incorporated. They would be able to open up women to do what they're better and able to do, and we would all be operating within our respective domains to its fullest capacity. I believe in a world filled with conflicting beliefs. Like right now, there's a lot of people coming into New York with different cultures and ways of being and navigating the world. I believe in between all of that, there is the potential for a great high yield, for a new system that takes into account all the beneficial things that cultures have protected and sustained up to this point, all the values and the practices and traditions, just the beneficial stuff. Boil it down, distill it into a new system that is not the system that would be pushed as the only system. It's just a system that is a really good system to get someone started to find a system that works for them. A pre-system. Something like that, you know? A pre-system. System before systems. I also believe that a lot of what I'm doing right now, I'm rambling. I'm just rambling. I love you guys. I might just end it here. I pretty much said everything that I wanted to say. You think I could say more? You think I could say more words? You think I could feel the air with more vibrations right now? I could. But I've spent pretty much my entire life really going over my beliefs and clashing them with other people's beliefs to find myself in a place not of superiority, but of immunity from certain perils that people who don't do that find themselves in the wake of. Like, if you believe in something and you're not sharpening your belief by walking with your belief, clashing it against the world, and seeing what it holds up against and whether or not you want to keep representing that belief, because we have to represent something. We're vessels. We're instruments. We have a degree of autonomy into what we intake. And so, yes, there is a degree of what some would call luck, which is just really cause and effect in our inability. It's really cause and effect in our inability to keep up with the results that arise from cause and effect. Cause and effect is law, and luck does not fit in with cause and effect. Every action has a preceding action. And hindsight is 20/20, so there's plenty of times where you look at the preceding action and say, oh, well, it surely makes sense that this would happen. But even then, luck doesn't fit in. The only thing that fits in is our inability to predict the results of what comes out of the law of cause and effect. And that, what I'm pointing to, is ego. The less beneficial kind, at least, because it lacks awareness. If you are aware, you find yourself closer to reality and being able to do more real things with real power. So, what do you believe in? I encourage you to sharpen your belief. I encourage you to test it.
How was your dinner?
I encourage you to trust change and your ability to grow beside it. As far as I'm concerned, since the dawn of man, it is our nature. We are greatly blessed by the struggles and the integrations of those who have come before us to even forget our nature. I would say to forget our nature is a blessing, because, as I've said before, we were born in a world of monsters, and yet we still bested those beasts to come here to where we're so much dystopian narrative. We're still here, still smiling. There's no rush. There's no whip on your back, or at least there shouldn't be, except for the one that you can put on yourself, or the one that you accept from another to place on you, which would be called mentorship or coaching, right? I trust you to put the whip to my back when I'm not acting right? So if you don't have that within yourself, you can find that in another being. In between the individual and the collective, there's a way to navigate so that we can all get our highest yield. The individual is not the only way, and the collective is not the only way. We're not going to do this alone. And the herd, only doing herd things without any individual thought, is not beneficial. I love you guys. Sharpen your belief.